Human beings of planet Earth. My name is Tonye Aganaba.
Hi, folks. My name is Corrina Keeling.
We would like to welcome you, beautiful, fine folks. We would like to welcome you, fine folks, to this incredible evening of live music, of conversation. Before we begin, we would just like to ground us all for a moment. What an incredible time that we are all living through. We want to start this broadcast of the Build Back Better Fest by saying that we, myself, Corrina, and the rest of the organizing team are based here on the unceded and unsurrendered lands of the Squamish, the Musqueam, and the Tsleil-Waututh peoples. We are always aiming, as a group, as a collective, to be in right relationship with the stewards of these lands. The truth is, all of us, as settlers, we are not supposed to be here. And here we are. And with that knowledge, with that information, we recognize and realize that we are required to examine, to interrogate, to understand, and to accept the reality of how we ended up here on Turtle Island. Everything that we do within this container, within the container of the Build Back Better Festival, and within the Living Laboratory is an attempt to wrestle with that truth and to try to do right moving forward.
Try being the operative word, hey? Fun.
Try being the operative word.
So, depending on where you live and what circles you move in, you might hear territory acknowledgements a lot. You might not, but it might start to feel repetitive to you in a way. But it's really important that we continue to place ourselves along the true history and the current reality of how we all arrived here. So it's important to remember that traditional place names are not what these places used to be called. It's not just historical. They are the true and real names of the places where we live. And keeping that in mind, even though it's subtle, changes our perspective entirely. I always really love learning the names of the territory anytime I visit anywhere, which doesn't happen very often right now, but it will again. If you would like to find out the real names of the territory where you live, there's a really great resource. The website is whos.land.en. And for folks who are watching the broadcast live, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. Say hi, let us know what your pronouns are. And if you know, or if you have the chance to look it up, let us know what territory you are joining us from.
All right. So that brings us to right here, right now. And you may have noticed that you have landed on a YouTube channel called The Living Laboratory. So we just want to spend a little time clarifying what that means and where you're at. So the Build Back Better Festival was built out of equal parts grief, rage, desperation, and inspiration. We, as artists, as creators, as organizers, had lost a lot of our ability to work. And all of this was happening at the same time that waves of revolution were cresting all over the world. And at that time, we as artists and as creatives, we couldn't travel, we couldn't move in the same ways that we normally would to support these movements and these revolutions and rebellions that were happening around the world. So we felt inspired as a group of artists and creatives to have conversations about what's happening and to create spaces where these conversations could happen, especially because we had a lot of time and space, because that daily hustle, the hustle and the grind of being, a creative in this city was on pause. So what we did is we created a festival, the Build Back Better Festival. And then we decided, oh man, it's so great to get all these people together. We should create a podcast so people can hear these incredible conversations that are happening. So we started a podcast. But then we started to realize that Build Back Better is just one piece of something much bigger that we're trying to build. And it's something that's much, much bigger than just this project. So what we did is we created the Living Laboratory. So the Living Laboratory is not a rebrand of Build Back Better Fest. What it is, it's us zooming out onto the bigger picture of what the heart of all this work is about. The Living Laboratory is a container where we can keep doing this work of asking questions and fighting for justice through our creative practices. The next project, it might be similar in terms of format, or it might be completely different. We don't know, and we don't mind not knowing. We're not doing this work in a vacuum. Everything that we do is tethered to existing fights for justice and liberation.
So with this sort of nascent container that is the Living Laboratory, we wanted to share a little bit about what we know so far about what our principles are and what we embody. So as the name suggests, it's living, it's alive, it's shifting and changing and growing along with us. It's also a laboratory, so it's a place for experiments. This is not necessarily a place solely for finished, polished products. We want to ask questions, difficult ones. We want to get really curious and pull things apart. We want to test things out. Without a doubt, we will end up failing. We've done it already, and we will continue to do so.
Yep.
We have an idea that, embracing mistakes is necessary for learning, not just in the context of the creative work that we're doing, but also the larger movements that we hope to support. Something that I endeavor to hold in my practice all the time is constantly remembering that perfectionism is actually just white supremacy. And the sooner that we are able to show up imperfectly, I think, the more we're able to dismantle this structure that has a hold on all of us. A really good example, Tonye, I hope it's okay if I share, that Tanya's computer blew up.
Exploded.
It happened yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
So along with that tiny explosion, went all of our pre-prepared video footage for this broadcast and all of our audio presets and all of everything that we were, had been prepared for. So a lot of this is happening on the fly. We're bringing this work to you tonight in the best way that we know how in this moment, in the spirit of generosity and in the spirit of doing the best we can with what we have. And I think that's actually kind of a gift. It's really aligned to the way that we want to show up in this work. We also just want to mention that something that we will embody with the continuation of this work is that we are human beings first. We're all hurt. We're all healing. We're all working through shit. And we endeavor to take care of ourselves and each other first. And we will always prioritize that over the expectations of productivity or the grind or the algorithms of being part of internet culture. And along with that, we also want to embody a principle that, these online platforms, we're going to mention some of them to you, they are a way for everyone to access this work that all of us are doing together. They are not the work itself. We are not trying to build a huge following on YouTube. We are not trying to become an online empire. We are not trying to monetize your attention. That's not what we're here to do. This work is about community. This work is about relationships. And these platforms are just a way to stay connected in whatever way works for you.
I love you so much.
Love you back.
You're so sweet. So on that note, if you are a YouTube kind of person, hit that subscribe button and subscribe to this channel to see more of our work. If you're an Instagram person, I don't understand you, but I still love you. Please go ahead and follow us on Instagram. You can find out more about what we're doing there, and you can also see some of the beautiful, beautiful creative designs and work that Corrina Keeling has created. All of the graphics that you have seen for the Living Laboratory were created by this divine being right here. Check them out online, lovelettersforeverybody.ca. Plug for the kid, you know how it is. And if you are a podcast person, big news, babies! The Living Laboratory podcast came out 2 day, if you like to listen to compelling podcasts, we've got something for you. You can find the podcast at soundcloud.com/The Living Laboratory. That is a free option. If you are a person who does not have a Spotify account or an iTunes account, you can listen to our podcast for free on SoundCloud. But if you are a Spotify user, you can find the podcast on Spotify, and within the next few days, the podcast will be available on all of the other platforms. We want to stay in contact with you. We would love to know about the conversations that you're having in your communities. So please stay in contact with us. Follow us wherever you follow people, but don't follow us in real life because that's against the law. And if you hate the internet, send us mail or smoke signals or pigeons. We get them all. We appreciate that. So on that note, I think that's all that we have to say in terms of an introduction. We hope that you will enjoy all of the performances that you're about to see and the conversations that are about to happen. Please check out the podcast. It's called The Living Laboratory. And on that note, from myself and the rest of the Living Laboratory team, we love you.
Take good care of yourselves.
Peace.
To welcome us in a good way.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Kayah George, and I'm going to continue the welcoming in my Indigenous Squamish language. Hot squile tanoia, poshlia queen quishamin, Kayah George queen sna, tinachin kla dachlela, tinachin kla slewata asnach. Skalustan man, titalta flan jishat. Hey. In my language, I just introduced myself, and I also said I'm from Tsleil-Waututh Nation and Tulalip tribes. My father is Skaloos and my mother is Sitsialtsa. And hot squile, good evening. I want to welcome you to my beautiful homelands. I'm currently in East Vancouver, where my people have been walking, living, breathing along these waters for thousands of years, and it's, to me, it's the most beautiful place on earth, and it's the most holy place, and it's home. That's my grandma, that water, and I welcome you here, although I don't have the freedom to protect these lands and do as my ancestors once did, and live on these lands as my ancestors once did, and have the control and have freedom to decide what we want. I have hope, because the only thing sadder than not having freedom is forgetting that you once had freedom, and that's why we're all here, so that things can change, and so that there can be more hope for the future, and there could be more hope for my people and all of my neighbors and all of my brothers and sisters around me, and all of these lands and our future generations. There's so much hope. So don't lose that, and always remember that. And I also thank you all for coming and listening and being a part of this, and having the bravery to stand up and share your craft and share your music and share your spirit with all of us. So I say Haichka. I raise my hands and say Haichka. Thank you for bringing your spirit into this space for change making. Haichka, Haichka, Haichka.
Thanks so much, Kayah. I'm so delighted that you could be a part of this. I love you so much. Kayah is going to be joining us again in a few minutes, because she's also one of our conversation partners. But I think Tonye and I just wanted to provide a little bit of context about what this whole grand experiment actually is. So, obviously we're all living through a global pandemic.
What?
And I don't know if you knew.
I missed that.
I know, it's easy to miss. It's kind of was one of the secondary headlines that are happening.
What everybody's
just a small
been talking about.
Yeah. Now you know. The more you know. And there's also, of course, in the ongoing cycles of racial justice and environmental justice, and of just justice movements in general, there's really, over the past couple of months, been a real crest in that wave that has made it more visible than it's ever been before. We're still facing a climate crisis. And all of these intersecting crises, especially sort of the fallout of what's been happening with COVID, what we noticed is that, there was all of these inequities that existed in our global society, but COVID made them visible to people who were never directly affected before. And so all these issues are not new, but they're exacerbated by the situation that we're in. And I think a lot of us were really wondering what to do about that, especially as artists.
Yeah. One of the guiding tenets of this whole project was this quote. Corrina, can you remind me of the name of the person who said it?
Yeah, it's Toni Cade Bambara.
That's right. And the quote is, "The role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible." And as artists, we recognized that we have such an incredible power, and we've been gifted such a responsibility. We gather people, and when we gather people, it's never been more important for the meat and potatoes of why you're gathering them to mean something. So we started having conversations. I don't even know when they started, somewhere back in what feels like 100,000 years ago, April or something like that.
Yeah.
And we started reaching out to members of the artist community and finding out, like, what's going on for you at this time. First of all, what movement is like drawing you towards it, and how can we collaborate with each other? How can we collaborate with the leaders in our community that are protecting us that we don't know yet? So we wanted to see how we could creatively find a way to mash those two worlds together at a time where we can't meet in the real. And that is how Build Back Better Fest was born.
And it's interesting because this broadcast is what we've been promoting as the festival. But actually, this is just sort of one of the things that is visible publicly to something that we really hope will be a container for a lot of different things. One of the things that's interesting about the context we're in is that any of you who are on this call who are artists know this is a time where we have the blessing and the curse of sort of the capitalist machine of us being required to produce in order to be able to sustain ourselves as artists has ground to a halt. And there are consequences to that inevitably. And that's some of the conversations we have tonight are about that, but also it granted us with this gift of time and space to reflect on what we really wanted to contribute to, and the things that for Tonye and I and for the people around us that were having these conversations, it wasn't about production. It wasn't about producing more material, more music, more shows. It was about learning and about relationships and deepening trust. And learning how to make mistakes with each other and build real community, and figuring out how to use our creative practices as a place to ask these questions about redistributing power, and how to use our work as platforms to amplify calls for justice. Yeah, small order.
No big deal.
No big deal.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Why not? Global pandemic? We've done weirder things than this.
And we will do weirder things than this.
Oh, yes. So the process that we employed to get to this project was we basically flooded the city with invitations to artists to find out who might be interested in having some real conversations about how we move forward through all of the crises that we're living with. And obviously, we're living through a pandemic, so it was hard to wrangle people to participate. But once we had wrangled this incredible group, we started looking around the community for folks that we didn't have to look we just opened our eyes and looked around our community and saw the incredible organizers, the incredible people that have been doing this work, but at this time where we need it so desperately are just championing revolutionary ideas and like really fighting for justice. And then we posed the question to them, would you be interested in coming together to have a conversation about where we're at? And they were all like, yeah, which is a miracle, because they could have been like, hell no, COVID-19. So what we did was we paired artists and organizers together. We brought them together for riveting conversations, which we are going to edit into a podcast series, which is going to blow your minds. I'm so excited. Just being able to sit and be a fly on the wall for these conversations has enriched my spirit so much and filled me with incredible amounts of hope. And I know that it will do the same for each of you also.
Yeah. And so really what you're witnessing this evening, like I said, is kind of just like a visible crest in the wave of this deeper project of bringing artists and community leaders and organizers and activists together to hopefully create a container for some like real deepening of relationships. And what you're going to be hearing tonight is just a sliver, because otherwise the show would be literally 3 days long. And hi, Aaron Hamlin.
My nudist husband in the back. You're just live
on a national broadcast.
National broadcast, baby.
I'm so delighted he's made an appearance. What you're witnessing, as you can see, is an experiment. And is really just like a sliver of those pairings are going to come together and just tell you some of the like juiciest highlights, tidbits of what they were left with after their conversations, in a hope to let you into that little window of what's coming when the podcast is eventually released, as well as some incredible music that Buckman Coe here in Coast Salish Territories was very, very generous to host us. So all of the artists got together and got to actually spend time safely distanced, but in the same proximity as each other, just, doing what we do and loving it so much and just being able to feed off each other's energy. So you're going to be able to witness those performances as well tonight. So that's kind of what we have in store for this evening. You're going to be learning a lot about some of these organizers and activists and community leaders as well. And we'll also be dropping both the artists' information as well as the project that these organizers are involved in the chat. So you can go and whatever lights you up, whatever sort of makes you feel sparkly that you might want to chase and get involved in, you can follow those links too. And then what comes next is the podcast being released. And then who knows? This is a container for learning. We're really looking forward to staying connected with all of you to see what happens. So thank you so much to Buckman Coe. And thank you so much to all of you for being here and witnessing this. And I think we're ready to get started with our first performance. I'd like to introduce you go.
Me? Okay, shit. But before I do that, I just want to say one thing. Okay, Let me put on my best radio voice. Zambu, I love you so much, and I'm so glad you're here. That's it. Our first artist is one of my favorite human beings that has ever been presented in front of my eyeballs, ever. I know that's high praise, but I mean every word of it. The first artist of Build Back Better Fest is the one, the only Kin Balam.
was born to the context of bullets demonic, rocket launchers and vomit, freedom fighters and shamans, genocide and the carnage, our women raped by the army, grandfather's liquor alarming, mama running from bombings, gang banging, slaying her offspring, in post-war with the dropping of bodies never found stopping, ancient wisdom forgotten, like the culture that's native in the eyes of the men that will come to enslave it, better dead in the blazing, my father tied up and swinging, tortured by police villains, trained to cut out his feelings, so the state and the law, money and power still wielding, exodus of a nation that carry a jaguar, where our blood is most naked. If one looks to the direction of society's aiming, I was sentenced to death before my time as a baby. My whole life I have fought in the world that is crazy. Therefore, in seeking understanding, I study my sword, reaching my clarity of purpose for all of my growth, where my breath is a testament of vanquishing foes, not only in body, but mind and soul. So hold to the message that if you believe, then homie, you can soar. If freedom's your seed and love is your goal. My tradition brought me healing, hard to win it, but no limits deep within it. Spirit risen, I love this feeling full of wisdom, nightmare killing, peace instilling, truth revealing, reconnection with my ceiling. I see the death, the lost breath, brokenness of spirit, come to set by the mess of our past. I see the rain, our pain was a game to hold claim to our names and our frames, never tamed. I come from strife, the gang life, country dice, bombs at night, money tight, crying nights, building might. I see the man's prison scam for my hands, but I plan and program to command, free the land. I hold the dream, so redeemed, love supreme, poverty, no more seen, earth is clean, we are free. I am the wind, jaguar wind, eagle wings, the offspring of women, aren't you kings, the offspring. Lo lai, 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 lo lai.
See what I mean?
Gosh.
See what I mean?
Does it to me every time.
Oh, we would like to introduce to you the incomparable Balam and Kayah George. Kayah, where you at?
Right here.
Oh, I can't see you. I have so many people in my face. All very beautiful.
Balam, you here?
I'm here. What's up?
Balam, tell us a little bit about the song that you just performed.
So the song that I performed was is a composition that I wrote called Nekepio, which means territory in our land. And I am from Central America, what is known as El Salvador, where in our language, in our name is Cuxcatan, which means the land of jewels. So yeah, that song was a little bit about the struggle of my mother in the war, and the struggle, my own struggle in North America, because our community has slipped in the darkness of drugs and gangs and violence, and such is the effects of colonialism and slavery.
Kayah, Balam, give us a little bit of a recap of the conversation that we had, that you two wonderful folks got into this earlier this week.
This is a
Kyle,
lot.
you want to tell him?
Holy, it was an hour and a half we were talking. I thought, like, I wasn't sure how long it would go, but I think the thing I'll start by saying that struck me like the most about it was like how I felt going into it and leaving the conversation. Like I was kind of having a rough day, and then after I was like, okay, it was like a breath of fresh air almost. Even just that song right now, I'm like, oh, breathe. Like it's good to see somebody like I could relate to, even though we come from places far apart. We're really, it's not that far apart, you know. I felt like a lot of what we talked about was a lot of overcoming, you know, getting stronger, like inside and outside of colonial genocide and oppression, and how, you know, how art's been like a very big part of that, and song has been a very big part of that. That's something that I feel like helps a lot of our people survive, is our culture and our songs and our language. And yeah, I left the conversation feeling like wow, like really inspired, like really I feel like stronger, like I see so many other people surviving, and see, you know, like Balam, like you know, this resilience that our people have all across Turtle Island, north to south, like so much resilience. And so that conversation we had was really, really profound to me, you know, and we got into some deep things, and I'm glad for that. You know, we can't hide that. We can't, you know, there's a lot of pain that we go through, and a lot of beauty too, and a lot of love that, you know, our peoples have experienced. And so it was one of the realest conversations I've had like a long time, and I'm really thankful. Yeah, I learned so much, and so I'm really thankful. And yeah, and if you want to add to that, like, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, for me it was beautiful to see you know, just a young powerful sister, you know, in the mix, and you know, standing and fighting, you know, with your community. And I think what, if I could sum it up, I think it was like, you know, indigenous minds traveling through indigenous time and indigenous wisdom and indigenous resistance in this continent. Because some of you may not think like this way, but our history is thousands of years old. And one thing is to say thousands of years, but another thing is to feel it and go down that, I guess, rabbit hole and go through all those layers and all that beauty. So for me, it was beautiful, you know. It's like a north and south unity, and we're just traveling on an eagle's back or something, you know. So
I love you both so much. I can't explain to you all, for real, being able to sit in silence, just like glomming onto every word that all of these incredible people have to say, was one of the most enriching experiences that I've had ever, but especially during this incredibly trying period of time. Balam, Kayah, thank you so much. Balam, you performed a second song, which is going to come up now. Can you tell us what that song is?
yeah. So the next song that's coming up is Warrior Spirit. And Warrior Spirit is about how to embody the spirit of rebellion, whether that be through times of violence or times of peace, whether the sky is on fire or whether the inside is on fire. So basically, Warrior Spirit is about, from my community, getting down with the military through guerrilla warfare, and us overcoming and conquering different forms of warfare, whether they're in the streets or in our minds, the institutionalization of colonialism upon us, overcoming that. So warrior spirit, it's self-explanatory.
They say that it's time for my people to stand up, command up. But we have been fighting for 500 years here, holding tears, spears, shooting arrows and bullets, protecting the heart of a mother, the sacred source, constructing the basis of choosing to offer my peace to the warrior's cause. Is it always the same, the nature of battle? Just to say poison before us that rattles, the colonization, imperialism, urbanization, the gang wars, prison, the losing of land, my tongue, my fam, the loving hand, replace the baseball guns and hands, the sun that glance who sunk my hands to understand and illuminate, choose my faith, abuse the place, the hard space, the art we make, the love we fake, the hate embrace, the consequences is always great, whether negative venom or positive healing, there is no doubt, the language from my mouth, our thoughts that pierce the ground, they hold the crown to mold the sound of all that is around. We hold the key to fly or drown. I feel it's all up to me now. I'm super down, I'm figuring out what is right. Why do we fight it? For what do we fight? Why do we live and for what do we live? What do we take? From whom do we take? And what am I doing really when the cops are killing freely? The government stealing dearly. My own people wanna kill me. Our justice is just theory. Our justice is just theory. The people's hopes is weary. Our children we're not hearing. And the planet's death is nearing. So the plan that we've been steering should be given death for the clearing. For a brighter world appearing. Do I offer my people survival amidst the pollution? Within our brain, within our brains, within our veins, this ain't no game. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. I used to believe that the strength of my person relied on my drive to hurt others. That robbing and stealing, that murder and terror would make me a powerful brother. To follow the orders of motherfuckers making profit and gain from my pain would grant me the honor, respect, and the pride that I felt nothing of in my frame. Following posing forms, I saw my people the roar, the war, the storm. Never questioning why so much pain. Living insane was acceptable form. Torn apart and uprooted the after effects of the war that grew in our land. Where armies of death were present, confusing for building our warrior bands. Transforming our lives the way we see our eyes, our minds, our hands. In relation to no longer waiting, but raising the dreams that we place in the sand. A result that achieves all dependent on actions and plans. Moving deep in the jungle that run with desire, that spoke of the journey of man. Towards the horizon, where no longer the heart is abiding. To lies ideologies guiding our people of the dehumanizing, but teaching respect towards women. Revolution of suffering with sinning. A spiritual love as a syrup in our path of so positive feelings. Hey. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the people. Power was never the government. Power was always the...
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Disarray, and you might tell yourself that you are not enslaved, but you know, as I do, can only guess at what is true. This is a half-truth world we've been living through the schisms, back into the fire for the next baptism. Raise my hand with those who dare, so Babylon, you best beware. Babylon, you best beware. You wonder just why this life is so full of trouble and strife. Do you wonder just why this life is so full of trouble and strife? Oh, one more time.
Buckman Coe.
Does it to me every time, you know?
Had a lot of fun on the road with that fella.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of good times. Let's bring on Buckman and Desiree. Buckman Coe, where you at?
Buckman Coe and Kimberley Wong.
I'm sorry, I can't read.
That's all right. It's a complicated spreadsheet we're looking at, folks. Maybe that'll be like some back-end bonus content. Rick, are you here? Kimberly, can we hear you?
Hey, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Welcome, family.
Hey there,
how are you doing?
It's great.
So Rick, glad to see you. Rick,
do you have your auntie there with you?
Rick, you might be muted, my brother. Can we hear you?
I had my computer on a second ago.
You're doing great. We accidentally evicted Rick from the pre-show tech run.
He hadn't even been inappropriate yet. We just kicked him out for no good reason.
And then that meant that he wasn't allowed back in. So we've been in the back end doing a bunch of workarounds to get him back in the chat.
So
Rick,
sorry.
Tell us a little bit about that first song.
I had it all set up. Hold on.
Tell us a little bit about that first song.
All right.
Oh, he's running around. This is like action. This is like the
I
real
gotta
life.
put on my slippers first and get my smoking jacket.
Okay.
Tell us
What's up,
about
Rick?
your song.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Okay, great. All right. Okay. It's working.
It's working. Tell us a little bit about that first song, Rick.
That song, hold on. It's trying to connect to my.
This is terrible. I'm really sorry about this, you guys.
You know what?
You don't
we can
have to
hear you
apologize.
so perfectly now. Just go.
Okay.
For it.
Go for it.
All right. My thing keeps on trying to tell me it's connecting to my computer. All right. That song, 11th Hour. I've always tried to sort of see our problems in the world as connected to our own individual paths through the world. So, you know, like it's a spiritual journey, not just for ourselves, but for our kind of consciousness and our planet as a whole. And I've always kind of tried to see that link, you know, even if we're fighting something extremely political or against environmental destruction, it's part of our own sort of journey through the world. And, you know, this is something that is tied into questions of do we have choice? What is our will? What is our fate? What is our purpose in the world? So that's really kind of the question of the song, as well as redemption of our species and of humanity and our ability to save ourselves from destruction and unneeded suffering and death. Yeah.
So no.
Uplifting.
Yeah, uplifting. Thanks, Rick. We asked for
But
happy tunes.
But I use some major 7 chords and, you know, some,
right, offsets the doom.
Yes, I use some jazzy chords.
Rick,
that one it was very inspired by, you know, Marvin Gaye, which I feel like, you know, there's always, even though it, you know, even if he's singing something very, you know, challenging, it's still kind of sexy, right?
Exactly. Revolution is very sexy.
Make it political, but
Rick
also
and
sexy.
Kimberly, sorry, I interrupted you. Rick and Kimberly, just I want you to give it a chance to say hello, but I would love the two of you to have a chance to share a little bit about the conversation that you had together.
Hello, my name is Kimberley Wong. I use she or they pronouns. That was beautiful. Also, I understood what you were talking about. I did my musical theory. I went to piano lessons. I grew up in a Chinese household. But Rick, it's so lovely to see you. Hi, pal. And
hello
hi,
again.
I saw Auntie there as well. Hello, Auntie.
She's run away from the video camera. She doesn't like to be filmed.
Got it. We talked about so much in our hour and a half. We talked a little bit about names. We're both Wongs, quote unquote. We talked a little bit our own migration histories and about how much nuance there is to be had in Chinese diasporic identities, about what it means to be a mentor and a mentee in this time, about musical theater. It was really surprisingly fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation and realized how much I need to have these conversations with, you know, folks with Chinese diasporic histories, and how much, how validating it is and exciting to hear other people's stories. And I really look forward to delving deeper, you know, because I feel like as we see each other, you know, we see ourselves a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I think something that really interested me is our own, like our shared migration histories, our own experiences with our family's histories with imperialism, for example, which is something that I think needs a lot more delving into.
Yeah, I've got as you do, you know, in our family history, and just over the past couple centuries, quite a rich, if you could say it, colonial experience. And you know, it's not always Western imperialism and colonialism. It's much more complicated than that, and I think that's a rich part of understanding overall humans' history. And I think it's important to know your own experience with colonialism, as well as the experience of colonialism here in the Americas, as well as, you know, Asia. So I think it's important to know.
I love
so
you
delighted
both.
to be able to witness both of you in that conversation. I mean, Tonya's talked about it already, but I was not prepared for how moving and how just the gift that it would be to sit and hold space for conversations. And yours was so rich. And I want to really honor both of you for that. Thank you so much for allowing me to be witness to that conversation, and for saying yes to this experiment, and for sharing all of your wisdom of lived experience. We just dropped all of Buckman Coe's information in the chat. We dropped a bunch of information about Kimberley Wong, so you can learn more about her, and also about the Just Recovery Vancouver program that they have been really instrumental in getting off the ground. So thank you so much to both of you. Tim, I think we're going to roll in a second into the second song, but Rick, really quickly, maybe you can just introduce the title of this next song as well.
The song is Decolonize. It's from my second last album. And in another fashion, I always like to have a positive spin. So it's about believing in the possibility of what we can do as we decolonize ourselves and decolonize our minds and decolonize this land. Yeah. Big love, everybody.
I'm trying to decolonize my mind. This may take time, but I promise I will start to shine a light on the darkest corners of my heart, to unlearn the racist and oppressive ideologies that are ingrained in the fabric of our society. May not realize they're there, but they are. But if we know where we are and where we're from, we might find out how we all can be. I know, I see, I choose possibility. I know, I see, I choose possibility. Well, I'm a guest here on indigenous soil, and my brother, you've been a gracious host. I'll endeavor to earn my keep, and my sister, I'll do all that I can to defend me from misogyny, which seems to be at the roots of this destructive band to pillage the pillars of life itself. And moving forward's gonna be messy, cause there's a hunger that gnaws, but we are rich, but there are lessons for us all. I know, I choose possibility. I know, I see, I choose possibility. voices of the elders and the land. And to appropriate is not appropriate, but there's a line that's fine and somewhere just right. We will meet in a field, and I can feel the sunshine on the faces now. There'll be time for our tears to dry, and moving forward boldly to this bright future. I'm sure glad to have you by my side. I know, I see, I choose possibility. I know, I see, I choose possibility. I know, I see, I choose possibility. Oh. Well, I'm trying to decolonize my mind. This may take time, but I promise I will start.
I'm doing my best. I'm doing enough. I'm doing my best. I'm doing enough. And I am here, and I am here, and I am here, and I am here, and I forgive myself, 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 and I forgive myself. I'm doing my best. I'm doing enough. I'm doing my best. Yes, I'm doing enough. And I am here, and I am here, and I am here, and I am here, and I forgive
like lightheaded or something.
Oh gosh, every time. Desiree Dawson, are you here?
I feel high.
Yeah.
We
Des, we can see you talking, but we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, can you see me? I'm frozen on mine.
We can see you. We can hear you.
Oh, great. Okay. Hi.
And Ananda, are you here as well?
I am. That was beautiful. Hey, Desiree.
I feel weak right now. I feel weak a little bit. Desiree, please tell us a little bit about the song that you just performed.
Okay. Yeah, so the song that I just performed is one that I wrote for a friend, actually. A friend of mine, we were just chatting over WhatsApp, and she had moved, and so we were just talking, and she had said something about how she was feeling all this like shame and guilt and all these things that I totally was like, oh yeah, me too. But I was really shocked to hear it coming from her, because I don't think many of us actually show that we are feeling all of these things. It's kind of something we just like lives deep within us. And so I just literally closed my eyes. She told me all these things, and I was like, you are an angel. I love you so much. Here's whatever the hell this is. And I just sang this song into like a voice memo for her. And then it just became a song that I sing often now for myself. And friends will be like, hey, can you sing me the forgiveness song? I'm like, yes, I sure can. So yeah, it turned into just like a helpful song for a reminder, which I always need.
Desiree, I think we all need it.
I've been singing it all day to prepare and like put myself in like the correct headspace and heart space to host this event tonight. Ananda, so cool. I want you to be able to say hi as well, and please, Desiree and Ananda, tell us a little bit about the conversation that you had with each other.
Yeah, Ananda, do you want to start?
Well, I just wanted to say, Desiree, that was beautiful, and a song I needed to hear as well. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And what a pleasure to have met you the other day and shared stories. And yeah, thank you for being you and for being such a voice in our movement.
Thank you. I so appreciated our conversation.
One of my favorite parts of the conversation, which we unexpectedly got to take part in, was Ananda really challenged you to teach us all to sing one of your songs, which was the most beautiful, unexpected twist of the tale. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Do you want me to talk about that?
Yes, please.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was just beautiful being, because we were just talking about the power of song and how it can be healing, and how we touched a lot about, I think a lot of it was about healing, and how music can be healing for like those on the front lines, those who need to be taking care of themselves, how it can connect us together as well. So we can have these songs almost like in our toolkit that we can just like pull out at any time. And then Ananda said, what's one of yours? And I was like, oh, well, there's this one about what I need is all I have is what I need, embrace the journey, quiet, endless searching. And then I was like, well, usually I sing it and then like everyone repeats it, are you down? And so it became this nice Zoom wave of singing the song, which was really, really beautiful.
I think what especially resonated with me was the actual words, because as we spoke more about the agency of artists and the leadership of artists in our movement, reflecting on the unique leadership of artists, especially where art can really follow the design and original instructions of nature and the earth around us, that it provides us more depth of wisdom and direction than the most technical of science and the most advanced of modern technology and communications. That art really plays a role that we often undervalue, but actually, in my opinion, needs to take over from all the engineers and lawyers and scientists and all the people who think they can solve this complex ecological mess that we're in, where really the beauty of the solutions lie in the simplicity of some of the truths that you artists speak, and the words of what you said, is everything we have that you have is really like what you have is everything we need, to address the crisis around us, to address really the core elements of what's wrong with the planet around us and how to go about in the right way fixing it.
I love you
I
both.
so appreciated that reminder.
Desiree, sorry, Ananda, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tonye.
I was going to say, Desiree, you have another song that you've chosen to perform.
Yes.
Please give us a little bit of an intro to that magic.
So the next one's called Where Do We Go? And this song is just, I guess it's kind of what a lot of us are talking about, kind of like, where do we go from here? And that I say at some point, like, we have to love, sweet, deep love. So the idea was not just, I think there's a version of love that we maybe haven't even discovered yet. And that's what I call the sweet, deep love, is like getting uncomfortable, getting like into these parts, but it's a kind of love that I think is like the only thing that's going to help us through this is a really deep, sweet love. So that's what the song is about. I wrote it a long time ago and it's still relevant.
Still relevant. Thank you so much, Des. I'm so looking forward to hearing it. Thank you to both Desiree and Ananda, both of you. I really regard you as true leaders in your own respective fields. You're really you've been doing the deep work in your own unique way in a long time, and I'm so honored that both of you were able to come and share some of your wisdom and be a part of this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please hit the chat for all of the links for Ananda's incredible work, Climate Justice Alliance. I have been obsessively watching videos of you speaking, sir, today. Please.
Community collaboration with labor, Indigenous Food and Freedom School. There's so much to learn.
Mm-hmm. Also, another quick note, we all ordered food from Calabash Bistro. If you want to eat food too, you can hit the link in the chat there. This is not sponsored by Calabash Bistro. The owner of Calabash Bistro is an incredible member of the community and was in an awful car accident not too long ago. So we're just trying to get the community to order food from Calabash Bistro. Doesn't have to be tonight. It can be any night of the week, but they are incredible. Such a hub for culture and music in our city and art. And I want to give them all of our love and all of our support. I got the oxtail. I'm sorry for all you vegans in the house, but oxtail is the taste of the revolution.
Just go. Okay.
Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. The past is something we hold on to dear. So where do we go from here? Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. The past is something we hold on to dear. Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go? Look how they're feeding us toxic waste. When they're breeding us, when the light shines bright, drugs compete with us, compete with us. But love is all we want, love is all we need. Deep down in the dark is where we plant those seeds. Plant those seeds. Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. The past is something we hold on to dear. So where do we go from here? Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. The past is something we hold on to dear. So where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go? Oh. I was given the sweetest treat when I started seeing myself in everyone I meet. You'll be given the sweetest treat when you start seeing yourself in everyone you meet. You meet. Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. The past is something we hold on to dear. So where do we go from here? Where do we go? Go from here. The present is cloudy, future filled with fear. So where do we go? We've got to love. We've got to love, sweet, deep love. We've got to love, we've got to love, sweet, deep love. We've got to love, we've got to love, sweet, deep love. We've got to love, we've got to love, sweet, deep love. That's where we go from here. That's where we go from here. That's where we go from here. That's where we go. We've got to love. That's where we go. Sweet, deep love. That's where we go from here. We've got to love. We've got to love. Sweet, deep love. That's where we go from here.
A total immigration moratorium. We need a break for a while. We got to dust off the books and assimilate the ones already here.
We have to name the enemy. That doesn't mean all Muslims are the enemy. We look at these 6 countries. We can see they have a serious problem with terrorism. They have a serious problem with
Enemies run this in me nation.
Started with the hands deep in the dirt of the motherland. Hindustan, Pakistan, Tamilans, 1,000 culture caravan. And carry hands, carry plans. So where we stand and where we land, they try the bands, but we pushed up through the sand, working and working. They would take what was given, they would work it to work it, and then give what was taken. Working and working. They would take what was given, they would work it to work it, and then give what was taken.
Enemies in the railway station, coming at ya. Immigration all up in the generation. Enemies run this in me nation.
ये देश ले ही देसी मेरी माँ पिता का मर्जी मेरी दुनिया तो सारी सारी मेरी जिम्मेदारी मेरे दिल का देना खाली पर आता थोड़ा दुखी मेरे खून तो है पंजाबी पर अकल में फरंगी आके जाते कितने रह गए ढूंढे देखे ये भी कैसे जलते जलते मेरे दिल में जलते जलते फिर भी कितने आज जो मेरे सपने में आज का ये भी खेल है फिर तो तब मिलेंगे ये तो मेरा वादा है.
Enemies in the railway station, coming at ya. Immigration all up in the generation. Enemies run this in me nation. Enemies in the railway station, coming at ya. Immigration all up in the generation. Enemies run this in me nation.
I'm the firstborn in this nation with all of my family's hopes. Yeah, that first generation. And through my education, didn't know no reservation that this land I grew up on was under occupation. My indigenous relations were under legislation. Now I see my obligation to build collaboration, a new foundation, and build upon creation. What's in the equation? All the liberation.
New shores to call a new home. Light up a lamp in this cold, even when the last light is letting go. The fire in a breath is gonna sing ho. Nila Badu, can you hear me? Send a message in a bottle across the big sea. Lady, I'm going to courage is here with me. Standing with our ancestors, you best believe me. Enemies in
is the subject. If you deport all the 12 or 15 million illegals back to where they came from, then there would be demand for the
You can't be here if you're here illegally. You're not supposed to be here.
Aluma Sound. So for those of you who don't know, Aluma Sound are Anjali and Roop.
Roop might have trouble calling in, but he's going to do his best.
Anjali, I love you so much. You're such a bad boy. That was brilliant.
You're a bad boy. I'm so honored to be on this lineup with you guys. I can't quite fathom it, but thank you.
Tell us a bit about that song.
Well, Immunation is sorry that you guys had to hear all that right-wing garbage at the beginning and the end. We debated whether to put that in or not, but it was just kind of a juxtaposition. We actually wrote this song during a time when it's ongoing. It feels very relevant, even though it was written 2 years ago. An ongoing crisis at the southern border of the United States. And right now we still have kids in cages. We still have ICE deporting people in the middle of a pandemic. We still have unmarked and unnamed ICE officers accosting people in their homes, at schools, taking parents away from their children and separating families at the border and on the United States side. I personally know people whose families are undocumented and who live in the fear of this every day. And even though the song is kind of like lighthearted and like migrant pride, it's supposed to be a commentary on that and the fact that immigrants are what have built this nation and the nation down south. This whole colonial state was built on the blood of indigenous peoples and on the labor of migrants. And yeah, bit of a vibe, different vibe. What was before?
We're about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Thanks. And Atiya, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. This is so incredible. I'm just blown away by all the performances, and I'm honestly just so honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yay, Atiya's the shit.
I was the lucky one who got to sit in on this conversation, and we tackled a bit. It was super fun. What were some of the things that stood out for you?
So many things. I think a huge thing was just learning from Anjali and from Roop about how they've used art as a bridge to bring together activist communities and creative communities, and just how we can use art to make the movement more fun, more inviting, because if we can't learn to experience joy together, if we can't learn to be in community with each other, then we can't really build a strong movement together.
Yeah, it was a soaring conversation. We went from we went across the spectrum, but that was kind of the essence and the heart of it, was that, the artists, in our daily lives, we turn to art for light, for something that moves our hearts and something that brings us joy. And we need to be able to feel that joy. We need to dance. We need to, I don't even want to say indulge. We need to just experience that and have that be part of our lives. We need to ignite the creativity that's within each of us, because what else are we working for? What else is a movement for justice for, if not a good life for everyone? So yeah, we also talked about what it would look like to build back better. And I loved the things we came up with. Shout out to Roop, who has bad connection right now, but who is a complete, total visionary, talented, beautiful person. And you'll hear him on the conversation in the podcast.
Hi,
what's one
Ruth.
of the things that stood out for you about that conversation about like building back better? Like there, you had like a little tidbit that stood out for you.
Atiya, you go first.
Well, I was just going to say Ruth spoke so powerfully around that vision, around the specific things that we need. I think a big one is we need to defund the police. We need to work towards abolishing the police. There is no building back better if we're criminalizing Black people, Indigenous people, racialized people, and we can build back in a way where we can have better justice systems for our communities.
Yes, exactly. And we talked about, you know, we had a lot of similar threads because we've sort of shared activist worlds for a few years now, and you know, things like really standing up for those whose lives are affected the most from the crisis, and realizing that there's no halfway. And I just keep thinking about, you know, right now the big thing is around Kamala Harris and like, oh my gosh, we have a brown woman in such a high office, but she literally calls herself the top cop. And so if you're not standing up for the working people whose lives are excluded from that narrative, what does it really mean? What does representation mean? It's not a relevant concept at that level. But anyway, so what we were saying was, yeah, no cops, and just like underscoring the importance of just like health, basic health. Like this last few months has been like, wow, we're really nothing without our health. And what does that mean if not everyone has access to it? And then also just talking about how like we had these like big political conversations, because I think all three of us are activists as well as artists. And we're talking about how important it is for artists and activists to have these spaces to just talk all the time, to connect all the time, and how it's so critical for us to use our platforms as artists and as the art community.
Thank you.
Which every artist on this lineup does. So
yeah, it's true, right? That's was a big thing that we noticed when we were doing our recruiting and inviting people, is that there's so many people just in our immediate community that are already using their platforms to amplify messages that are critical to get out to the world. Thank you both so much, and Roop too, if you're listening, for being here. It seems almost, it seems awful to end any of these conversations because they could go on forever and be rich for hours, but we want to make sure that we leave time for other people. Thank you so much for being here. Ange, can you tell us, you have another, Aluma has another song that you performed. Can you tell us a bit about that before we jump into that?
Yes, this one's a little no music for this one. It's just Roop on the beatbox, and the song is called Warning Signs, and it's like a little sci-fi thing. It's about it's spoken from the perspective of the moon looking down at a future Earth that we have ravaged through capitalism and runaway climate change. Real cheerful vibes. And the moon is sad as she looks down on the earth, and she says, my children have forgotten her name. It's sad, but I think we need to think about these other perspectives in order to think about the world that we want to bring about. So this is Warning Signs, and thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We love you.
These are warning signs, warning designs. I raise the waves time after time. Warning signs, scorched earth and ice. Lunar tears fall from my eyes. There were warning signs everywhere we turned our eyes. Disease in the bones, every crevice, every hole, and the stench grows too big for everyone to know. Slow onset in the airwaves, punctuated by the fire and the hot blaze. In the hot days, we were breathless, but in those days, facts were weightless. None of that in my backyard. Too dead to be witness, it is too far. Who knew islands had skeletons, quiet burdens in our closets, spinning slowly round in the same rock. The galaxies apart when the heart stops. Water on the rise, a burning of the eyes, and the next life will collide. Warning signs, warning designs. I raise the waves time after time. Warning signs, scorched earth and ice. Lunar tears fall from my eyes. Flooded plains and dreams of rain. Womb waters rise to reclaim. Waves and change, hold your shame. My children have forgotten their names.
Excuse me as I rise out this seasonal deflation. Hermit in the cave is my biggest inspiration. Spinning circles like a Sufi, shaking up my mom shit. Animating all my demons, purging out internal scripts. I wanna sleep with you, but I can't even sleep with me. It gets too crowded in my head, I'm at full capacity. Suicidal pillow talk, got my dreams on standby. Overthinking all inside, I just want this spiral to die. Burden of representation, paycheck to paycheck. Social capital and stages, token round a neck. I really need a therapist who's not a white apologist. Biggest fear is tyrophobia, history of psychosis, emo, Filipino, low-key, high-key, depressal, make me a Canadiano, but we're still on stolen land, bro. Never got an invitation to settle in flannel. My people working overtime, pattern of survival. White feminist rhetoric embedded in the fabric. Fashion handcrafted by these colonized habits. Like me at 100, how you like my 0? This fire like your fire, but this my sun in flight mode. But I'm mortal, so I'll fuck it up, okay, I'm mortal. But I gotta do better, okay, I'm mortal. Fuck it up, okay, I'm mortal. Let's take care, okay, I'm mortal. So fuck it up, okay, I'm mortal. Take care, okay, I'm mortal. Fuck it up, okay, I'm mortal. Take care. Cut me open portal to our ancestral medicine. Don't you know it's sexy, and bitch, I can do anything. Cut me open portal to our ancestral medicine. Don't you know it's our season, bitch, I can do anything, cause we're mortal. So fuck it up, okay, I'm mortal. Take care, mortal. Fuck it up, mortal. Do better.
Immortal. Wow. Every time. Immortal, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for that performance. One of the incredible things about this project is that we were able to be flexible because we have to take into account the fact that COVID-19 is still a thing. So when we reached out to Kim was like, hey man, you know what? I'm not trying to come and hang out with you. I'm going to record from the comfort of my own home. And I'm so glad you did, because it reflects your personality so beautifully. Mm-hmm. Kim, welcome. You had, would you want to tell us a little bit about that song, please?
Yeah. Well, Kayah Mortal is, it actually reminds me of this meme that I saw kind of circulating on the internet seas. That said something about colonialism and systemic racism being a huge part of why we deal as like BIPOCs with mental health issues. And that song is also kind of like vibing off Desiree's song of forgiving yourself, and it's also about like alleviating pressure from yourself, because like we're human and we're gonna make mistakes, and it's about holding each other in community and like forgiving ourselves through the process of doing this work.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'm mortal.
I know
I'm
it's
gonna
in
sing
my head
that
too.
to
I love that you I love that you talked about just this idea of like being human and making mistakes. And Tonye, of course, we were not just willing, but actually eager to accommodate, not just because that there's a pandemic going on, but also because that's the least we can do, is to treat each other with decency and dignity and make adjustments and accommodations, and like, let's do away with what we currently think of as professionalism and actually just be real with each other and take care of each other. And the fact that we did that not only made you be able to feel safe and comfortable, it also made this whole project elevated, because now there's this whole different unique aesthetic that you brought because you produced at home. So thank you so much for that. I want to see if Jahmira is on the line. Are you here, Jahmira?
Jahmira is here.
Here.
For those of you who don't know these two individuals right now, your mind's going to be blown by this podcast. You talked about every single thing that I deem important, you touched my heart in so many ways, but I'm going to let you talk about that because I'll take up all day. Jahmira, please give everybody a little intro to who you are, and amongst yourselves, please give us a recap of your convo.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much to Build Back Better for putting this together. This has been an amazing festival, and I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this and to have had a conversation with Kimortal, who's, I don't want to gush about them too much right now, but it was fantastic. My name is Jahmira Lovemore. I am a settler here on Coast Salish unceded and ancestral territory. I am from Ontario and moved here a while back. I work in a variety of different social justice pockets. I'm with Black Lives Matter Vancouver. I also am part of Black Mutual Aid BC, and the Hogan's Alley Society as well. And I kind of just jumped into these things, and it's been a bit of a whirlwind to kind of find a space to really move from and push for what we actually need and bringing pieces of community together. I didn't know what to expect with my conversation with Kimortal, and I'm really happy that I went in without my whole muddling up my own ideas, because they blew me away. And I really got to see parts of the ways that we can build back better by working in community. I'll leave it there for now.
Jahmira, I learned so much from you. Like, one of the questions we were asked was like, what sorts of things or what sorts of issues are you focused on and thinking about during this crisis? And literally in like a minute, Jahmira talked about safe drug use, food sustainability, universal basic income in this housing crisis. And it just like that. And I was like, wow, it basically talked about, how all these demands, the research is out there, and all it takes is for us to get behind them. And it's not a pipe dream. That's like the quote that I take away from the conversation I had with Jahmira. It's like, it's not a pipe dream, it's possible. And another huge thing I took away from this conversation is the importance of coming together to have teach-ins, which also Anjali also talked about, is like coming together as a community to talk and converse. And I feel like so rarely do we have those opportunities. Like, we all know of each other somewhat in this community. And so it was just so good to talk with Jahmira. We talked for like an hour and a half, and I swear I could have kept on going.
I definitely could have kept talking too and kept listening. Like when you were talking about like this vision of a writing table, because like the teach-in is this really cool idea, but like also like the creative process and how we show all of these beautiful ideas and show the world that we don't have to operate out of fear. And you're talking about this like space where we actually meet, where activists and artists and everyone just is and creates, and I started to see how we can show the world and how like just that unity and how important the artist perspective and the way that you see the world can really help us to blossom. Like it was like that idea stuck with me a lot, like the writer table in particular, because I just saw so many pieces coming off of that. Like
and like that sparked from the question that you asked of like, what is a dream art project, I think is what you asked. And I was like, oh, just like a bunch of us like at a writing table writing a script and a film and like bringing all our different perspectives to like one topic, and speaking from like our specific communities, because each of our communities have intersecting, contrasting and connected struggles. And so it's like, what if we wrote together? But yeah, like imagining, what does a world look like without cops? What does a world look like with land back? You know, like visualizing it as like artists, and yeah, that's a common thread.
Yeah, so the visualization around land back was a really important piece of the conversation, because like I feel like so much the dominant narrative is just like this, it's all fear-based, and like the settler idea that they'll, oh my God, because of the violence that was perpetuated to create what we live in now. And I forget how you said it, but it was just like in this writing space, we can show that like there is love here, and that's we're coming from. So I'm getting off on a whole side.
Yeah, I feel that. And you also said like compassion. It's like we need our imagination and we need compassion, and that's like, these are things that are lacking sometimes. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
You two are two of my favorite human beings. I'm looking forward to seeing you collaborate. I know that we, talked a little bit, hey, let's make a play or something, but for real, let's write something incredible.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Kimmortal, your second piece is coming up now. Can you give us a little bit of an introduction to your second performance?
Yes. So the next performance is a really new piece that I have never shared. And you get the debut. And it's a spoken word piece that it started off as a love letter, and then it became about me telling a story about the limitations of the colonial language of English. And yeah, basically it's a love letter, and it also talks about just fucking with English. That's what it's about. Enjoy.
Dear lover, years ago I had a stutter with the English language that I knew would stop me from getting to you. Let me tell you what I had to do. It all started when I was 14, a vibrant but anxious kid doodling in English class with a secret wish to speak fluent confidence, like those with their whitened tongues, their high hands, and their easy chatter. I knew I needed their strange meat, the ones that fell from the holes in their mouths. I knew that if I just had enough time to sit and study the weapons they wielded, that I could use them to get to you. So every day, After class, when everybody left, I would fall to the carpet and collect these strange creatures that had fallen from their lips. I would unlock the latch of my diary and gather these bodies into the hidden cupboards of my box. I did this throughout high school and university, through the dense forests of libraries with their staples and classics, salvaging fragments that I knew could one day tell our story. Every night before sleeping, I would open up my book and pull out these rigid little strangers, and I would study them with a close eye. Their suits of serifs, their sharp collars, their uniform concepts, and their Western hats. How could I use these white forms to pull out the landscapes trapped underneath my tongue? These forms that greeted me politely every morning, that prayed for my silence each night, that alienated, that bruised, that cut. So I used my teeth to tear down these forms. I flipped some upside down, rearranged their parts, sanded down the edges, tossed out the excess, and repeated until they became woodwind hymn, bamboo chime, and powerful waves that would one day bring me back to the shore. I sculpted from them hooks and JPEGs to hang the wings of moths, puso made from banana leaves, handwritten love letters from Lula. I took their cishet romance and I wove a drag dress, and I danced in front of them, shaking my ass, doing the ocho ocho. I exposed their codes, melted some into bars, converted many into accessible formats, waves, gifs, songs, poems, food for the masses, to refuel, to remember. I took their shit, grinded it down, and mixed its fragments and ingredients for you, my lover. Our labor of love, oftentimes invisible. The powder that fills hourglasses, tossed ever so lightly, we could freeze time with it. Years ago, they tried to keep me in the stutter, the gap between two worlds. But here we are, with our imbalanced chemicals, taking a selfie, a PDF of our PDA.
Are holding out for me after all that I've done. Been making promises, I prayed that I could keep, but I didn't know how. And I know I let you down. Oh, I know. This fever's hollowed out a harder part of me, made some room for who I am. Who knew the medicine was naming what you need and to give what you can, so I don't let you down. No, I won't let you down. Won't let you down. No, 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 no. Oh, no. Oh, 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 oh. No, 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 no. she's thinking that maybe she can't face it anyway, and she's thinking maybe she won't, and I can't let her down. No, I won't let her down. No, I won't let her down. No, no, no. Oh, no. Oh, 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 no, 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 no. Oh, no. Oh, 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 no, 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 no. Oh, no. Oh, 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 no, 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 no. Oh, no. Oh, oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Corrina Nicole Keeling.
Oh, got a
Sorry.
middle name in
I gave them your middle name. I'm also going to give them your SIN number and your phone number. So do what you will with that.
Steal my identity. There's not really much there.
There's nothing to steal.
There's nothing to steal. I'll tell you about that song.
Corrina,
tell me. You're gonna ask me.
Tell me about this song.
First of all, thank you to Desiree and to Jess Vira, who's also on the organizing team of the festival, for jumping in at the last moment. We were like running harmonies like as we were about to perform, because singing with other people, especially other femmes and women and non-binary folk, is the thing that lights me up more than anything. That song's called Let You Down, and it's really just about the rat race and the myth of productivity that comes with capitalism, and how we are constantly feeling like we're letting people down and ourselves down because of unreasonable expectations of producing and churning out work. And like, sorry, I didn't reach your email, but there's a pandemic and a global revolution and a climate disaster. And like, sorry, I didn't answer your email on time. And then really how I think for me, it's about turning inward and recognizing that I can't show up for any of the things that I care about and any of the movements that mean so much in a good way unless I look after myself. And so I have to make sure I don't let myself down first.
You're brilliant, and I love your music, and I love your voice, and I appreciate so much that we got to spend that day doing what we love together.
I was high.
Right?
I was high on human beings and live music.
It was a bit of a problem. It was for me, not for you. You were great. I was like running around, screaming, having to take multiple breaks outside and just be like, you will see people again. Don't lose it all today. So your conversation was riveting. You had the pleasure of speaking with Melina Laboucan-Massimo, who is on the call.
Are you here, Melina?
Melina.
Gosh, what an honor to be able to talk to you.
I'm here.
Hi,
all right, I'm gonna leave it to you.
Hi.
Yeah, I think for context for everyone,
I just
obviously
messed up the audio.
You're good. We can hear you still.
So just in settings.
No, I'm gonna put it back on. One sec. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I'll just, as Melina's resetting her audio, I think something that was really important to Tonye and I both is that, you know, we were kind of creating, along with the team that we had with us, we're creating a container for this festival, but also we wanted to be participants, and we thought it was really important for us also to be in conversations and to be doing some of this learning. And so I'm really grateful that Melina agreed to have a conversation with me, because she's just doing incredible work, and has been since long before I've known her, since she was a little kid. And I'm really honored that you took time out of your incredibly busy schedule doing really important work to be part of this conversation. So Melina, I just want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself in a good way too.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Corrina. So I was happy to have more conversation and go deeper. But Tansegwakia, Nia Melina Mia Buckman Laboucan-Massimo, Nia Nikeo Kinespunta na wow. Yeah, it's an honor to be a part of these conversations that are so important, that bring us deeper into our humanity and understanding the systems of oppression that affect us on our bodies and how trauma kind of plays out. And so I think that conversation was really what interested me after being on the front lines first time, 7 years old, and we talk a little bit about that in the podcast or in our conversation. And I think throughout the years of like just bracing the trauma, I think for me I'm really interested in more like healing justice and like how trauma kind of sits on Black and Brown and Indigenous bodies, and how we don't make spaces for that in our society, in the conversations we have, and recognizing that burden that we're still continually having placed on our bodies, environmental racism, environmental genocide, but also like trauma. So I think that for me I was excited to have that conversation with you, Corrina, in like a real and true way,
Yeah, no, and I was so honored to hear what you had to say too. And I really, I'm constantly in my relationships and in my conversations finding new layers to the reality that what we are doing to the land, we are also doing to women's bodies, specifically Black and Brown and Indigenous bodies, and that we didn't calculate the true cost of extracting resources from the land. And also this idea of how, as artists, if we're storytellers, how do we in a good way and like responsibly and ethically and in a way that's actually of service to the experiences of people who are pushed to the margins, how do we tell stories but also not continue this cycle of extracting stories and extracting experiences from the communities who are experiencing it? I was really fascinated by sort of the nuances of that part of the conversation, and also just to hear you talk about your journey with your body and your relationship with healing, and the way that in some ways that parallels mine as well. And we all sort of, anyone who's been doing this work has stories about trauma intersecting with illness, intersecting with injury, intersecting with intergenerational trauma. And I was really delighted by the graciousness and generosity with which we entered into the conversation about the ways in which settlers and white folks are also navigating grief and trauma because of historical injustices, and like the layers of like being a colonizer, being colonized, and that we have a responsibility to embark on our own healing journeys so that we can show up, not to absolve us of the responsibility of being complicit, but to actually show up in a way that we're ready to do the work.
Yeah, show up and stop perpetuating harm, systems of harm, I think is really kind of what happens when people don't recognize their own history. And so we have like this here on Turtle Island, the history is not recognized. And then, slowly it's being recognized, but the trauma and like the intergenerational trauma that you talked about, it comes from a history of like 1,000 years of white people kind of traumatizing and like murdering and killing each other. And then they come to Turtle Island and then they do the same, to what you do has been done to you, you do to other people. And so it's like the healing is everyone has responsibility to do that. But I think within the systems of racism and the structural oppression that a lot of more Black and Brown and Indigenous bodies, again, are the ones that kind of deal with the intensity and the impacts first and foremost, and like every single day. Whereas because of systems of racism kind of allows non-Indigenous and like settler people, white folks, to be able to not have those feelings and those burdens and traumas. It's kind of generational, but that healing and that work still needs to be done. But it's very different in the way in which it shows up every day in the lives of Black and Brown and Indigenous bodies, for sure. It's just like the microaggressions and all of the things that we're trying to overcome are still there. And I think when we're trying to protect the land, we're trying to protect women as like a murdered missing family member of an Indigenous sister, my sister. And the trauma is like every day. It's not just something that's in the past. And I think how do we have like what I think is what I'm really interested in knowing more about and learning more about and bringing into spaces and bringing into community is like, what does healing justice look like? What does trauma-informed practices look like? So we're not recreating systems of harm on each other and like the lateral violence and all those things that we see, which break down our movements. And so for me, I'm really interested in seeing that moving forward after, you know, many years of suffering and silence and like, yeah, getting really sick from it. So the work.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and your honesty and your, I'm just like, I'm so grateful to know you. I'm so grateful to call you a friend and to be able to, you know, play my small part in my creative practices, both my visual practices as well as my music, to be a drop in the bucket in the, you know, the waves that are hopefully contributing to, you know, redress and to restoration of the way that things really should be.
Yeah. Well, thanks for showing up in like an authentic way and like, you know, allowing me to be like white tears, white, you know, all the stuff. And you're just like, yep, you know, and I think that's why with Tonye, like with the conversation is one of my actually favorite conversations that I've had in like a very long time. There was a lot of realness and rawness, but a lot of like joy and laughter and just like laughing at kind of shit. Right. And so I think that's really like, for me, what's healing, but also just like hearing one another and being with one another in that like discomfort, but also like seeing each other in like our humanity and like kindness and loving and graciousness if we can be, you know, and like we always can't show up that way, but I mean, as much as possible, I think it just makes being in spaces and movements with people like so much better.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting the conversation evolve in that way.
Sure. Yeah.
It was
let it continue to evolve over time.
Yeah. So thank you, Corrina and Tonye. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too, Melina. Corrina.
Yeah.
Please tell us about your next song, my darling dove.
Oh yeah, there's another one. So this song is called Landlines. And it's just me sorting and wrestling and trying to come to terms with where I'm at in the journey of understanding my place as a truly, you know, up until, you know, now we've been terrible guests and will continue to be unless we make some radical changes in the way that we not just relate in terms of our political systems, but have a relationship with the idea of colonization in our minds. So it's just me, it's imperfect and it's incomplete, but it's where I'm at in the journey.
Where I live, I'm unraveling all these stories to see what we've been becoming. But I am starting to ask these questions, and I am so scared to get it all wrong. But I know silence will get us nowhere, and fear means we do nothing. They've been imagined on all this land that was never our own, and all these laws that say that we own them, they're all lies we've all been told. sit inside of this wild discomfort to see what we've been becoming. 'Cause all these lines, they've been imagined on all this land that was never our own. And all these laws that say that we own them, they're all lies that we gotta unknow. And I know if we try, we can remember. Just close your eyes, 'cause they're in our bones. Unlearn the lies, truth in the center. May we all find we've all come home. You and I, we are starting somewhere. You and I, we are starting now. You and I, we are starting somewhere. You and I, we are starting now. But and I, yeah. Yeah, you and I, we are starting now. But and I, yeah. You and I, we are starting somewhere. 'Cause I don't live on the land I come from, and I don't come from the place where I live. But here and now we are starting somewhere. See where we've been becoming.
Check 1, 2. How do you do? Dedicated to the water protectors and the land defenders. Yeah. Find a thing and protect it. It goes like this, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world. Wild salmon warrior, coast protector, waterland defender. Shout out to all them sectors. Black snake killers, sight sea stoppers, tiny house builders, flash mob brown dance shoppers, frontline sisters and brothers, doulas, birthers, clan mothers, medicine keepers and colors. Drop it back and hover to my northern and southern homies, allies and cousins, sisterhoods and covens, down for action as loving ancient, recognize the ancient. I am common, not complacent, nationhood destined, not sovereignty adjacent. No need for these violations, infiltrations or citations. This industrialization is just lowering vibrations. We've come to save the planet. Here's your time to understand it. Probably not how you planned it. We say this heavy-handed. So hello, Your Honor, I'm sorry I'm late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world. And then there was action. We were gaining traction like a unified faction, just trying to stop the extractions. Mobilization right across the nation. 500 nations. Wait, stop, raise up vibrations. Ocean to ocean, Turtle Island motion, like a cameraman screaming to your heart with my devotion. And it was getting urgent, so we started converging. Our power started surging. Almost didn't make it here, and that's for certain. Sorry I was late again. I was out last night saving the world with my friends, yeah. Sorry I was late again. I was out see your hands clap. Oh, hey.
Ultimate uncle. That's my
What a
favorite
giant.
one. Oz 12.
Myself on.
I love you so much, brother. How are you
Hi.
doing? Surrounded
I'm
by
so
greenery.
glad you're calling in from your garden. That makes me so happy.
I just had to water everything, so.
Yeah, you know how I
What
feel
up?
about that garden.
Sunflower flex right here. Look at that.
Oh,
that's sunflowers
sunflower
right
flex. Yo, how tall are those?
there. Like 20 feet. That's all.
Okay.
No
You
big
don't need
deal.
to share with me your
Spirit
secrets.
power.
Spirit.
I'm gonna train my sunflowers to do kung fu, and then it's over.
Oz
Yeah,
12.
they're about to join us on the front lines. Look, they're all over right now. What up,
That's
though?
what we need.
We got ultimate backup.
This is the rap album like cover right here.
Yo, Oz, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Please give a little intro to these. Some of these people might not know who you are, which is
hi.
A shame.
wild. And please tell us
That's
about
cool.
that song that you just performed, because it's one of my faves.
My name is Ronnie Dean Harris, aka Oz12. My traditional names are Kuala and Malithuk. My families come from Stalos, Statlium, Inklakapmuk territories, and my great-great-great-grandfather comes from just over here in a place called Coquitlam, and that was our family name up until about 1915. And the song you heard, I think it's called "Sorry I Was Late," or "Me and My Friends." I'm not sure.
Either way, it gets
it's
stuck in
one
my
of those
head
songs that-
constantly.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wrote that when I was like rolling with the Wild Salmon Caravan, and we had we had like a circus band with us, so like a Mardi Gras band, and I was like, man, I need a song that in case there's a Mardi Gras band, I could drop it with them, and so that was what kind of came out, was like this sort of, you know, just an ode to those people who are just doing the work. So, you know, that song's dedicated to all y'all. Hands up.
I love that tune.
Thanks.
So good.
We have
It's
a
a
live
sticky
version
one.
too. Like I'm working with a band of great people, and we have a live version too, which you might hear somewhere. You know,
Sometime.
as the future of live music.
Maybe
you
we
know,
can do it
gets
with the
challenged.
DC World Music Collective.
Yeah, we'll see. See what's up. See what's
Okay.
up with it.
Oswald, you had an incredible conversation with Michelle Nahanee, but unfortunately they can't be here this evening because they're living their life, as we all must. But wow, so much incredible ground was covered. But what I loved about that conversation was the fact that both of you are incredible practitioners of your art and creativity, and both of you are deeply, deeply engaged in the work of decolonization. And just hearing you guys throw ideas between each other and talk about, you know, different practices and the way that you do your work was absolutely incredible. Was there anything that stood out for you from your conversation with Michelle?
I know I wanted to talk to Michelle for a long time, just because we do similar thing. And we've been in the same room, but these weird social situations where you know, we're the two Indians in a room or something like that, so we weren't allowed to talk to each other. Yeah, just the similarities, but she's just also got everything just so like just dialed in. You know what I mean? It's just a very clear idea of the work that she's doing. I think I'm very inspired by that, because you know, I'm a Gemini, I'm an artist. It's like, you know, one time of the day I'm a rapper, the next I'm like doing something. It's beautiful to see somebody that's just like boom. You know what I mean? Just
Did
like has it.
just reveal themselves as Geminis in this moment?
Was that all of us?
Lord. Everything
Sorry
making
to say.
so much more sense
So much
now.
sense.
Corrina's a Gemini. Anjali is a Gemini.
Yep.
I'm assuming. Oz is a Gemini. I'm over here being a Scorpio, struggling. Understand? Struggling.
Look, all right. We are Legion, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Scorpios, Taurus represent. Yes, I feel. Of course, you're a Scorpio.
The chat just took a hard turn
It
into
just took
astrology.
a turn. Oz.
Yeah.
What have you been working on? What have you been doing during this wild ass time?
I have 2 gardens and I have a son. I have a son and I have 2 gardens. We feed him fresh vegetables as much as possible. But
But other than that, I mean, I still do a lot of research stuff. I'm working with, I just got back. I drove home to the home community of Spuzum to meet with the people to do some work and to unpack some of the research work I've been doing up there. And so like, don't stop researching. It pays off and you can contribute something to your people. I'm working here now with the Massey Theatre in New Westminster. So we'll be doing some programming, research, unpacking, decolonizing, trying to shake. I live in New Westminster, which is like the oldest city in the colonial western part of British Columbia here. So we've come to shake the foundation of it and like to like implant like place names and unpack the history and challenge the narrative of colonial comfort here. So that's my appointment here and the short work that's at hand while we spend our time in New West before we move back to the bush.
I'm here for every
3-5 year plan.
Single part of that journey that you're on right now.
Yeah, and I still write music. I still want to make music. I mean, you know, this festival, this conversation, this great concept you guys have brought here is really like looking at, well, what's this future of music look like, and what does the futurism look like? So I've had to shift some things around career-wise, but also like I got bars, yo. So
yes, uncle.
I can't let it go. It's like, you know, like it's the thing I'm closest to mastering. And so, you know, when I talk to young people, I talk to anybody, I'm like, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, you can rap your way out of your problems, but there's something within you that needs to be activated that is a contribution to our people, to your family, to your community, to your causality, right? So for me, I mean, the rap has activated a lot of other things, right? So at the core of it is that thing that makes me live and breathe and just want to actually do stuff. So this has been hard this summer. This is my first summer not touring in a long time. I know all of you are feeling it.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
I was like, even doing this was like, I was like, holy cow. I was like, I don't want to say I'm rusty, but geez whiz, you know what I mean? It's not, we're not as practiced as we were. So, you know, we have to like learn to kind of shift our realityness. And you know, I watched that interview on Vlad TV with Chuck D talking about a concert he did with Eminem, and there's like 1 million people there. And he said, you don't play to the crowd, you play to the camera. Boom, 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 boom. So that for me was like, yeah, well, this new thing is like, how do we make this great? So not just music, but storytelling and education, decolonization work, information sharing. How do we make it cool like this? Yes. Right? And so put some production behind it. And we got people from TV and film, you know, so yeah, I'm excited to be a part of this with all these good people that you've brought together. This is, I wish we could conjoin our club rings together and like,
digital
like
club
lightning
rings.
and fire.
Yo, I have a dream of like Power Rangering. What is it that they when they get into that like super huge Power Ranger? That's what I want to do.
I'm more of a Voltron, like sort of the arm to the head. But
fisticuffs, my friend. We're gonna fight over this.
Get what you're saying.
I love you, Voltron, Megazord. We're nerds. Oz, please tell us about the second song that you performed.
The second song is called "If You Want It," and you know, it's pretty simple. I grew up on the West Coast. So like, you know, we grew up on that West Coast sound, and I wanted to be able to influence that G-funk sort of sound with Indigenous governance and Indigenous knowledge. And so for me, like, you'll hear it. It's right in the slot, I think, I hope.
Is right there. Prepare yourself. You're about to get history lessons, some education, some governance lessons. It's a good
look at some tomatoes and food.
Oh, those look delightful and delicious. Tim.
Yo, look, I can do gangster rap bars, but I can also garden, yo. Check this out.
It's really clear by following you on Instagram that you have your priorities
don't tell my
in
aunties
line.
about those plants.
Because it's just gardening.
Nobody knows except you and me.
Beautiful baby.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see you.
So don't let that image keep you from doing the things that you love, writing poetry, growing flowers and stuff and food and busting gangster rap bars.
I love you, dude.
Decolonization.
Yes.
Yeah. It's called If You Want It. Check it. It goes like this. If you want it, and if you got it, you got it. But don't turn around and cry if you already bought it. There's no receipts or returns or refunds or exchange, and I don't really care if that's strange. Almost no fucks given, especially on Thanksgiving. Decolonial resistance born into persistence. Sovereignty is a joy, birthright, tone of voice. Solidarity, rejoice, new constitution to hoist. Indigenous governance, title and rights to covenants. Ancient food sustenance, DNA coded and trusted since time immemorial. Terraform territorial, sublime editorial. Ignorance splits us like an Oreo. Imperial forces, taxation and tapping sources. Bullets and horses turn into tweets and armed forces. Media medicine, jettison, poison pedaltons, poison pros with presence in schools was forced into residence. More than elements, wisdom from an ancient intelligence. Savagery and elegance, dissident with some descendants. Mind to material, I'm anti-imperial. Potlatch your privilege like here we go. And if you want it, you want it. And if you got it, you got it. But don't turn around and cry if you already bought it. There's no receipts or returns or refunds or exchange. And I don't really care if that's strange. And if you want it, you want it. And if you got it, you got it. But don't turn around and cry if you already bought it. There's no receipts or returns or refunds or exchange. And I don't really care if that's strange. They call me chief of the galaxy, back to reality. Lunar feather gravity, flow with me till it's tragedy. 10 little Indians are with them little kids and friends, tearing up the lid and then shudder like obsidian. The savages with passages, no matter what the tactic is. Ravaging this activist agents aiming at activists. Type when we hit again and fill it with adrenaline. Type press send again, y'all groggy like some Benylin. A Van City veteran, never was a letterman. Prom pics expectorant, a deadly verse sectorant. Deliver it efficiently with great day sufficiency. Deliver it deliberately, great day sufficiency. I dabble in destruction, it doubles as an instruction. Rappers is only suction and only an interruption. We always up to something and gaming, I'm with this gumption. The baseline just keep on bumping, assassinating assumptions. If you want it, you want it. And if you got it, you got it. But don't turn around and cry if you already got it. There's no receipts or returns or refunds or exchange. And I don't really care if that's strange. And if you want it, you want it. And if you got it, you got it. But don't turn around and cry if you already bought it. There's no receipts or returns or refunds or exchange. And I don't really care if that's strange. Word up. Thank you.
This song is called Afroscience. All futures rely on its science, believe me. Yeah, yeah. I keep checking the sky for the signs that can deceive me. Yeah, I keep checking the time 'cause it's flying and it's bleeding out, bleeding out. I know it's borrowed like before and it's floating out of open doors and windows. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to come back into you. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to come back into you. I'm ready, when I'm ready to come back into you. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to come back in. I never thought that I could learn from it, turn from it, give it the coldest shoulder that it's ever seen. Yeah, I'm about to give up on that pipe dream. Ooh, because complexity ain't all I thought it would be. Swear that this just might be the golden opportunity to become who I ought to be, who I wanna be, who I got to be in order to be real free. Oh, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready to come back in. I'm ready, I'm ready to come back in, to come back in.
come back in. I'm ready. Oh no, I'm ready to come back in. Is it decided that we're divided? Is there a hope in hell? Don't tell me time will tell. I don't got it. This is a future. This is our inheritance. It's evolution. Escaping from that ignorance. A complicated dance, I know. But worth it when you're looking for that soul, soul, soul. The deeper that you go, go, go. The structures will implode, blow, blow. Making you whole. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to come back. Can you feel me? I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready. I'm ready to come back. Can you feel me? I'm ready. When I'm ready to say, can you feel me? I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to come back in. Oh, is it decided that we're divided? Is there a hope in hell? Don't tell me time will tell. I don't got it. Just joking.
Here's you.
So what?
Go ahead.
It's my party. My name is Tonye. What's up, family members? It's me, Tonye Aganaba, coming at you from the unceded, stolen territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations. What the hell is up? I'm so grateful that you're all here. This has been such an incredibly awesome experience to participate in. And just listening to all these incredible artists and
Moved. I'm super moved.
yeah, I'm super happy. I'm
Tanya-
super happy.
And
Len,
it's on the screen. Tanya,
baby,
tell
sorry.
us. It's all right. I got distracted by a baby. Emmett's on the screen now too.
I know.
Tell us about that track.
Okay, Afroscience is the name of that song. It stands for All Futures Rely on Science. Oh, my husband's in the room. All futures rely on science. And what that means to me is that we have to stop arguing amongst ourselves and start to understand reality and accept science. And what science is anybody's deep study of anything. Science doesn't have to be science. Science can be, like, I call myself an Afro-scientist because I'm a scientist of understanding what it is to be in this body and be a creative person. But science can be whatever you are passionate about. And we have to start understanding that, like, that passion, that unpaid labor that we do to understand life is valid information.
Valuable information.
Yeah, valuable information. And at a time where we are seeing people deny science so vehemently, I think it's really important for us to be humble and admit when we don't know things. Like, I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not. I care about science because I'm not an epidemiologist. But what I do know about is what it is to experience life in this body and to go through the challenges that I've gone through. And that's my science. That's what I know. And I'm willing to share that.
Well, and speaking of science and the validity of lived experience, that was what a lot of the highlights that I heard about your conversation with
Avery Shannon.
Oh, you online, Avery?
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, sweet baby Avery?
I'm so happy you're here.
I am so honored to be here. What an incredible lineup of humans. Wow.
You are one of those humans, Avery, and we are so grateful to have you. Avery, introduce yourself to these wonderful people.
Introduce myself. Oh, man. Hi, folks. My name is Avery Shannon. My pronouns are they, them. I am on the lands of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam peoples. I was born and raised on these lands as a settler. I'm a queer, multiply disabled. I'm also getting distracted by Emmett. Queer, multiply disabled activist in a lot of different movements. I've kind of jumped from one movement to the next and am currently doing a lot of things with mutual aid in COVID-19 and working towards a just recovery, very tangentially with Our Time, which is the youth-led grassroots movement to bring a Green New Deal to Canada, and am still working with Protect the Inlet, which is the Indigenous-led resistance against the Trans Mountain Pipeline.
So just a really short list of not very impactful projects.
You're not
really,
busy,
yeah,
is what you're saying.
Busy is a word to describe my life.
All of that informed an amazing conversation. Yes, Tonye, it's your show, Tonye. This is your time.
Thank you very much. I'll jump in. Avery, we talked about a lot of things, one of which was we were kind of dreaming about what the future could look like. We were talking about what we're witnessing at this time. And I wanted to celebrate the incredible work that you've been doing during COVID-19. I would love it, Avery, if you would just share a little bit about your experience making mutual aid come to life in Vancouver through COVID-19 coming together.
Wow, yeah, we talked about so many great things, Tonye. Oh my goodness, we went half an hour overtime, everyone. So yeah, I am one of the founders of COVID-19 Coming Together Vancouver, which was the first group that was called Coming Together, and it was really just different friends talking to different friends about how we can support each other better in our networks. So we decided to bring our conversations together. We, 7 of us, jumped on a Zoom call. I thought, you know what? We're in a pandemic. It's time for me to get my own stinking Zoom account. So I bought a Zoom account, and we wound up staying on that Zoom call for 7 hours that day because we were all so excited about what we could potentially help the community do together. So we worked out how to do it in a really good way, and we launched the Facebook group later that night. Within the week, we had our website up, and it's all just about connecting people to each other and connecting resources to communities.
Absolutely incredible. You know what I was doing during COVID-19? Just trying to stay alive.
I mean, that's essentially what we're doing, right? Like that's what we're helping people do, is stay alive.
I appreciate all of your work so much, Avery. You're absolutely brilliant. Our conversation was super fun. One of the things that I really appreciated about it was that we kind of got to commiserate around the idea of having a different kind of understanding about lockdown because of our experiences with our own health. And it was really nice to be able to talk to another person and be like, oh, you get it. You understand that, like, somehow in a weird way, I was prepared in some ways for this. And it really made me feel super empowered because I was like, yeah, I have super skills now.
You have so many super skills and superpowers.
I can't wait to collaborate with you more with my powers.
I would love that. Yeah, we had some great discussions at the beginning of our talks about how disabled people have experienced this pandemic in such a different way than non-disabled people, because a lot of us live our lives prepared to go for 2 weeks without leaving our houses on the regular. We are very accustomed to doing things like working from home, except we usually have to fight for that right. And now people are being given it as a norm. There are so many different experiences and so many different perspectives that disabled voices bring to this that really haven't been heard and listened to enough.
This is so true. But I really want to anybody in the room who's living with a disability, visible or not, I really want you to take with you from this that you are especially equipped in some ways to lead at this time. And I want to build with people that understand what it's like to live, you know, with a disability, because I see us as the most powerful members of the community in this time. We are prepared in ways that able-bodied folks are not for this crisis. So Avery, thank you so much, you brilliant soul. Our podcast is going to be particularly fiery. I'm very excited.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. This is filled with so much passion from so many incredible people that I think we're all super lucky to be here. And thank you so much to everyone who has been putting this on.
It is our gift
and delight
to be able to do this work. Absolutely.
Tonye, tell us about your second song you're going to perform.
Yes. Wait, hang on. Oh yeah. Okay. The second, whoops. The second song that I'm going to perform is called CC. And please hit the chat for all of Avery's info and follow them on Instagram, Savory Avery, follow them on Twitter, Savory Avery also. Yeah, the next song I'm going to do is called CC. And I wrote it because our drug supply is being poisoned everywhere around the world, not just in Vancouver, but everywhere. And people are dying, obviously. That's one crisis that's ongoing and has been ongoing before COVID-19 came to town. And since COVID-19 hit us, it's gotten so much worse. Obviously, in our city, it's gotten just crazy. Anyway, one of the first that really got to me was Chris Cornell. And what not bugged me, but like what really got to me about that is like he's one of my musical heroes, and it just made me understand that like even if you have everything, even if you have it all, even if your dreams come true, the can still fall out. And the sadness is inescapable if you don't deal with your trauma. And I don't know, obviously we've lost lots of people but that one for me really like, wow, it made me realize and recognize that like, first of all, drugs again. Secondly, I need to deal with my mental health first and foremost every time, no matter what. If I have to fail, if I have to fuck up, I have to do that in order to keep my sanity, because that's all I have at the end of the day. So yeah, this song, sorry for that long drawn out nonsense. This song is called CC. Yo, what's up, party people? It's me, Tonye. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, yeah. No. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. I said shit, I'm on that grill. Lord, I want that metal. won't settle at the mentium. I don't break, I don't bend. See me when seeking silence in the air. And when it comes to it, I'm just trying to chill. Roll through buzzing, no pain, no pills. Your Jesus Christ, you got me feeling too real. Park and ride, don't let Jesus take the wheel and stop my free wheeling. You bring me down from the ceiling, so maybe I can start dealing with the path that I decide to escape. Memories on memories, so just erase that tape. Baby, keep that tape, 'cause I'm inclined to try again. No booze, pills, pain, my friend. Can't roll with nothing in my system. Love is the drug I've been missing. Please come back to me. Well, there's no telling what to do, but I'm not putting blame on you. You keep me sober, that's why I'm calling you over. I said, don't leave me alone tonight. Oh, no, 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 no. Feeling like I might be alright one day. Reflecting on my fears on you, 'cause that's what I was made to do, yeah. Don't leave me alone tonight. Oh, no, 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 oh, oh, oh. Feeling like I might be alright one day. Ooh, yeah, no, 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 oh, yeah. That's what addicts do, yeah, yeah. Well, where you wanna go, yeah. Ooh, baby, you're the only reason that I put all my fears on you. Boy, I'm calling you home, 'cause you keep me sober. Said, boy, I'm calling you. Yo, what's up, party people? This is Tonye Aganaba. All up in your eardrums. I want to let you know that I love you. You're beautiful people, especially you, and you. Big thanks to Gil and Company for hosting us, the beautiful hosts with the most. This is the Build Back Better Festival. My name is Tonye Aganaba. One love. Boy, I'm calling you over, yeah. Said I keep calling you over, yeah. I keep calling you.
Love, don't go there. That's not your job. The quickest fixes are found in gift shops. Life is a pageant you can't understand till everyone's drafting a list of demands. Shot from a cannon and hope in land. Calm, safe and sound in some capable hands singing, wait, is anyone here by themselves? 'Cause this could be it for me. La, 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 la. And if it's not tonight, and it's still on my mind, how nice. I know love, don't be scared. This one's his loss, but heads get so big, kissing heart throbs. If everyone I knew started a band, can you imagine the look on the fans? I'm brimming with questions I'm not gonna ask, afraid of the future, obsessed with the past, singing, wait, I know, wait, is anyone here by themselves? 'Cause this could be it for me. La, 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 la. I said, hey, is anyone here Could you save some for me? And if I taste bittersweet, oh, does it kill the mystique? And if it's not tonight, but it's still on my mind, how nice. I know. Wait, is anyone here by themselves? 'Cause this could be it for me. La 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 la. I said, hey, is anyone here who could tell me that this could be it for me? La 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 la. No, listen, this could be it for me. Right here, right now. This could be it for me. Oh, this could be it for me. This could be it for me. Thank you.
Charlie.
Hi, can you hear me?
God, I love you so much. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you.
I love your rainbow balloon.
I appreciate that. That was a gift for my birthday, which was like 5 months ago. But it's a confusing
I'm glad I got
story.
to hear the whole story last night. Thank you so
You-
much for that.
You know my secrets.
I do.
But holy cow, and oh boy, has this been incredible for me. I'm blown away.
We're so glad you're a part of it. Tell us about that song.
Well, that song is a light number about wanting to die and realizing that pretty soon again I'll probably want to die, and that this is a pretty cyclical experience of mental health issues, I suppose. And the most optimistic thing I have to say about it is in my experience, sharing that experience with someone else, sharing that struggle with someone else is the closest I've felt to reprieve. So putting a song like that out in the world hopefully connects with people and gives them.
Can you turn this light, or maybe that light on a bit?
Hey, man. It gives me the feeling that I got.
I think he's made his own introduction. Charlie, thank you so much for your light little ditty about death. I think it's no, really, I think it's
yes, more of those.
Yeah, like we are living in times where the stakes are very high. People's lives are at stake when it comes to these issues that we're talking about, and like we do have to celebrate and be playful, but we also got to be real and talk about the fact that yeah, there's darkness in this work too. And thank you for helping us look at it. Eugene,
welcome to the floor.
What a graceful entrance.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, man.
I feel terrible. I'm on Zoom all day and I try to not be the bad on or off mute. Anyway, I apologize, Charlie.
Luckily, you're amongst friends.
Yeah,
so
and we're also all claiming the title of recovering perfectionists. So this is not meant to be flawless.
Hi everyone.
I love your
Thanks
suit.
oh yeah, thank you. Just for maybe to just get over the weirdness of it, the fact that I'm wearing a suit was because it wasn't a topic of our conversation, but it came up as like a little quip. I owned several vintage suits, and at the very end, Tonye requested that I wear one of said suits.
They did.
Here tonight.
So did I, for the record.
Yeah, so here it is. Here, I'll give you a little bit of close up there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Lord.
I'm here for it.
The multiple axes of
Fashion, high fashion.
I'm wearing shorts down below.
As you should.
Everything about that makes me feel really uncomfortable, but we're going to roll with that.
Charlie and Eugene, your conversation moved me so. I was so grateful for your honesty and for the space that was left to just like let things land. Tell us a little bit about what that conversation was like for you two.
Eugene?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like, I've been listening all night and hearing like a lot of the conversations. It went by so quickly. It was almost 2 hours, I think. And, you know, just kind of going through these different themes of, for me at least, when I was thinking about it afterwards, that this kind of thread of how music has played a role in my life and in our lives, and it both in terms of like political realization, but also the ways of expressing grief and sorrow and loss. And we've heard so much of that here tonight with all the beautiful songs. And also, you know, I think it came up in our conversation about like how, you know, even if you're not a performer, an artist, a musician, you can, you know, still create and make music as a way of grounding yourself, as a way of just, you know, really vibrating with the world. And so I was really grateful for the really thoughtful questions and the conversation. And to meet Charlie, we just met, you know, in that conversation. And so I look forward to meeting each other in person and having many more conversations. It was definitely the best Zoom conversation I've had ever of all time.
Wow. I appreciate that, and likewise, there was so much to learn from you, and I just felt really, really grateful. And one of the big themes was like the value of storytelling, and it's really easy as an artist to start devaluing yourself as just this unnecessary thing that doesn't really move anything along, because there's a lot of rhetoric that would convince us of that. And to have someone from your kind of position, which I admire so much, kind of echo that artistry can make a difference in that way. And I mean, the festival is a great example. It was really, really affirming on many levels. And yeah, it was a great, deep thing. And again, really admire you. Really appreciate it.
I want you two to be best friends forever.
Soon. We'll be able to hug soon and everything.
And also, Charlie, you should know, it's been dropped in the chat, but it is good to know that Eugene is also an incredible singer. I have witnessed him in a karaoke environment, and honestly, yeah, it's pretty impressive. Eugene's skills are many. Eugene, do you want to just really briefly, which is difficult because you do so much.
I'm just joking.
No, if you could just do a couple bars. But no, just tell us a little bit about just your work, sort of like what you've been up to.
Sure. So I am a lawyer. I work for West Coast Environmental Law here in Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh territories. I, as kind of came up in our conversation, I think of myself more in terms of human rights and justice than environmentalism, and that's how I came into the world of doing what I'm doing. And right now I spend a lot of my time working with the Tsleil-Waututh Nation Sacred Trust Initiative to oppose the Trans Mountain Pipeline, which I'm sure everyone on the call is familiar with, but also as a part of a couple of big things, right? A shift that's happening in the world in terms of energy and energy economics, and also an assertion and reclaiming of jurisdiction, of sovereignty from communities whose lands are being impacted by, big industrial projects. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of the intersection of those two things. I'm really lucky to work with a great team. And, I see Julia on the call, Anjali, who's worked there, a bunch of people on this call who I've or in this meeting who I've come cross paths with through that work. So yeah, that's kind of, and Kayah, of course, who did the opening. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Again, just like a really boring and unimpressive roster.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what I was thinking going into the conversation. No pressure.
It was an easy conversation. It was so comfortable.
Yeah, and also this is something that, you know, Charlie, we talked about this a little bit too, but I think that's one of the things that we're really hoping to accomplish with this container or this project or this experiment is really to break down silos and recognize that there are so many types of knowledge and intelligences, and all of us have something to offer. And I heard a couple of different sort of artists express the same thing, and I can admit that was you know, a little flavor of my experience as well, of like what makes me an authority. But I think we are all authorities of our own lived experience, and everyone is bringing something really, really incredibly valuable to this conversation. So thank you to both of you so much for taking the time. Charlie, do you want to tell us about the second song that you performed?
Yeah, moving right along, it is a song, it's called Speaking Off the Record, and it was kind of an exercise in a whole bunch of things I never thought I'd have the bravery to say publicly about some really, really grim times in my life and some unfortunate conclusions that I drew when I was actually given the kind of capital S success, the success that I dreamed of and kind of ruined myself for, didn't really bring me a lot of joy, and I was scared to kind of admit that, and it's just kind of musings on my experiences through the world, and yeah, it's a cruelty of the world, I guess.
15 of my closest friends walked me right up to the ledge, and everyone loves you, they said, so why do they leave me for dead? Speaking of the record, babe, I can't believe you hurt yourself again. And even for a second, babe, I can't believe you'd risk it all for them. I spent the bulk of my youth fucking my hand in my room, singing a song out of tune and wishing my brown eyes were blue. And speaking of your record, baby, don't include the early years at all. They're just a bit depressing, baby, so give them all the rock star that they want. Okay. Or maybe I spoke too soon. It's something I always do. Yeah. Whatever kills me fastest, find a way to mask it, sing it to the masses. Or maybe I spoke too soon. Alright. I'm not Cobain, I'm just a bitch, singing to the masses. But I live for fame and I'll die there, singing to the masses. Oh baby boy,
singing to the masses. You're on the cusp, but not quite yet. Singing to the masses. You're singing to the masses. I thought that we were past this. Now I'm speaking off the record, baby. Screaming when I come untethered, baby. Are you feeling better, baby? Or do you think about it every night? You're smiling more than ever, baby. Tell me why you want to end your life. All right, thanks a lot, everyone.
How you do it.
That's how you do it.
Exactly how you do it. Tell the truth and say goodbye with a little smile.
That's right. Leave people to sit with it. Speaking of the end, that's the end.
That's the end. But before
That's the end.
But before we go,
astonishing to me. Go ahead.
Before we go, I don't know where to start.
Me neither.
It's only the beginning. The whole point is that we need to build together as artists, as activists, as organizers, as creatives, as movers, as shakers, as visible people, accidentally or on purpose. We have an opportunity to collaborate together. And now we have a container in which to continue this work. We owe our gratitude and thanks to a lot of people who helped to make this magic happen. Every single artist who participated, obviously, each of the activists and organizers who came to participate too, our incredible organizing team.
Oh my gosh. If you want to wave in your chat box, please turn your screens on.
Jen Cool, nobody can see your face. Come on.
Jen
Lean in a little bit.
And Anjali as well, who you heard from earlier tonight, was also a critical part in making all of this happen. Denise Brennan, Jess Vira, the amount of just like brilliant logistics to help rein in the like cacophonous creative energy that is Tonye and I.
What do you even mean by that? I feel
wild
insulted.
idea. No, it's a compliment.
Oh, my bad.
I think I want to make sure that I thank Kayah George for opening this whole process in a really good way and for being a part of the conversation. Trevor and Brandon and Paul, but especially Trevor too at Guild and Company. Oh my gosh, like what juicy, delicious, beautiful work that was made. All of those recordings are going to be available on the podcast, so you can revisit them. Tim Ellis, thank you so much for all of your support with all of the back end that, again, we were like not even anywhere near equipped to even think about how to begin. Thank you so much for that. Bill Weaver, for your support out on the island to get Melina recorded for the podcast. Thanks to Locals Lounge for like some of the equipment that you lent us so that we could get this done. 350.org hosted this Zoom call. We were supported by the Polaris Institute and the Philip and Muriel Berman Foundation. Thanks to Luke Wallace, who's an incredible artist in the community as well, for like helping to wrangle all of that. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on and on. But really, it's this really is just the beginning. I really it's kind of hard to have language right now. I don't know, Tonye, if you feel this way about it too, but just like to describe what this process so far has meant.
It's been my rudder during this incredibly crappy time, to be really honest with you. It's been like my stake in the ground, the thing that I'm like, that thing makes sense. I can build around that.
Yeah.
At a time where, especially as an artist, things are very, what's the word? I don't know, fucked. Like, we don't know. We're not going back to work until 2022.
Yeah.
So between now and then, let's make something huge happen.
Yeah.
Let's use the powers that we've been given as artists and creatives to make something huge happen.
And not just huge, but also real and
Hell
perfect.
yes.
And please, let's show up as we authentically are. I mean, something that Ananda brought up in the chat that I want to speak to as well for all of you who are here during this broadcast, who also were part of the teach-in that we ran. It's really important to acknowledge that this idea has already shifted and changed and already shifted and changed so much, because we started off thinking, well, we need some sort of framework or container to have this conversation in, and there's a project that was called Just Recovery that was initiated by a whole host of people who wanted to have a conversation about being able to sort of get ahead of the bailout that governments were creating in order to recover from COVID. And we got some really honest feedback in that teach-in call that that's not the direction that our creative community wanted to take. And people were really courageous and really honest. And that was such an important and galvanizing moment, because to me, it demonstrated that we're doing good work because we're doing it imperfectly, and we're trying to do something that's really real and have conversations where people can really express the ways that injustices show up even in good intentions when we're trying to create something. So like, this is a container that belongs to all of us, and we are eager and willing to continually reinvent it so that the things that we talked about and all of the incredible artists and speakers talked about tonight are also embodied in the actual work that we are doing. We want to keep listening. We want to keep learning from each other. We want this to be a container and a community where we can do real work. So, yep.
Thanks, Zambu. Zambu put up a sign that says,
my
thank
mom's
you
holding
all.
up a thank you sign.
What a lovely person.
We are in the back end right now trying to see if we can like wrangle and download and figure out a way that we can show Oz 12's second performance.
Is it ready?
It's up? Yeah, it's ready.
Shingy.
Follow Build Back Better Fest on Instagram. It may shift and change, but that's where you can find out what's happening next. And thank you so much.
And there you have it. Build Back Better Fest in its glory. How do you feel?
That was really wild to go back and watch that and remember what that experience was like this summer of like sitting together. And yeah, I'm really I am like renewed with gratitude for everyone who so generously participated and like lent their time and their energy and their brilliance to this thing that was just a dream when it started, and now it's turning into something else.
What's next? The Living Laboratory podcast is out, so you can, as of right now, check that out. You can go to soundcloud.com/The Living Laboratory to listen to episode 1 of the podcast, which features Kayah George and the absolutely incomparable Balam. Also, make sure that you give us a follow on whichever social media platforms you like. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. You can hit us up on Instagram, and also follow us on Spotify if that's where you catch your podcasts.
We've also actually, during the course of this broadcast, made the transition so you can find us on Instagram at The Living Library. If you follow the Build Back Better Fest, you already follow The Living Laboratory.
Yes, so give us a follow if you don't already. We thank you very much for your time, for your energy, to each of the incredible artists that participated, the speakers, the organizers, to Gilton Company, to Sound On, to the Philip and Muriel Berman Foundation, to all the incredible sponsors that we worked with, Polaris, 350.org. I know I'm forgetting people, but we'll come back and put them in the show notes. Stay tuned. This is just the beginning of the Living Laboratory.
Thank you so much for being here with us.